When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that's when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. Then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume. Jeez. Stab the body with a knife? But why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? To pin the crime on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. Whoa. What do you mean by all of this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Just like last time. So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Mr. Cordia, at the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it murder in mind. So, she did it with the intent of framing Matt and Garde for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence your cross-examination. Oi. This is just the weirdest situation ever. But you could tell from the state of the room is in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck, but that scarf is a part of the Jammin' Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour the juice. Your plan. What is this plan you had? I knew right away that the murderer was Matt. I knew because Juan, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the weakest weak point. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's what I thought. I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. And so the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. That's how you can get the knife, right? Correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his... I'm tired. It's only like 6:04 and it's the 27th of July. I actually had to think about that. So he just tried really hard to screw him over. No, that's life. Bit of an inconvenience. What was this inconvenience? An inconvenience? There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. Lotta. My spikes. And old bag. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the award ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there. And what is the secret? That, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave in Juan's room in the nickel samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So, after that, he went to Mr. Engarde's room and implanted the button. Into Matomika? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I stuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word. What does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Engarde. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Fred Sietska, huh? She said that I should under no circumstances confess to what I had done. That if I kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Well, wait, Your Honor. The defense still... Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. That's all. Court is adjourned for today. Fudge. Witness, would you mind if I ask you something? Edgeworth? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. That card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Yeah, where did you get that? You've been fiddling with it this entire time. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there, right next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body? I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not. But it is still a strange card, if you ask me. But as far as clues to this case, I don't see why. What the? Edgeworth? Witness that card! Give it to me! Hurry! Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? This! I can't believe you hid this from me all this time! I didn't mean to... Well, what is this all about? I've never seen such an emotional Edgeworth in my entire life. That card, what in the world is it? And what does it mean?